Sorry, if you didn't hear the number of that first hymn, but we're going to move on to 266. Now the green blade riseth. This is one we don't sing very often. It's a medieval French carol that I think you'll catch on pretty easily. So we'll have Ariadne just play the last 4 bars, and then we'll sing it through. 266. Thanks. Let's turn to number 62, When the Daffodils Arrive. This is an interesting history. It's a Hasidic tune, but it's with an Easter lyric. Ariadne will play the whole melody through once because it's probably a little familiar. Then we're going to finish off with something very familiar.
When
finish up with 305, I think it's called, which is De Colores. The colors in the springtime. And Ariadna's father is, Raul is going to help us with the Spanish verse. So we're actually going to begin and end with De Colores, 305. Yeah. So, take it away. So we'll do the Spanish verse first, then the 3 English, and then the Spanish again.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que viene a subir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Take your mask down while you're singing. You want to take your mask off while you're singing?
De colores, Number 2 English. Okay. All the colors, just the colors of people, the raining and days. All the colors, just the colors, the rain and the night and us. All the colors, just the colors of pain and the whole. All the colors, just the black and the white in the red and the green and the yellow. All the colors of people yellow. All the colors, just the color of people De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores se vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los santos amores y los amores gritan así.
Good Easter morning and welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, Unitarian Universalist. I'm Bill Rode, a member of the Worship Associates ministry here at the church. And I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and call your attention to the special note for you, welcome guests and newcomers, on the back side of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you attending online. Lyrics to hymns may be found on the live stream screen, and a complete order of service is available on the link in the Sunday email and on the church website. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. As a congregation, we are requiring masks be worn at the 9:30 service, while masks are optional at this 11:15 service. Our religious education program requires masks in their 9:30 programs as well. Masks are optional during the in-person Sunday social held immediately after the service. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. And if you would, please stand as you're willing or able and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 61, Lo, the Earth Awakens Again. Our call to worship this morning comes from lyrics to a song written by Kieran Kane. Someday we'll roll away the stone that we have carried for so long. All our burdens will be gone, and I can't wait. We will find our way to an understanding of all views. No prayer shall be refused. I can't wait. It seems we have gone too far, and now we don't know where we are. I believe we'll find a guiding star, but I can't wait. If faith is the final place where all fears have been erased and the locks have fallen from the gates, I can't wait. Someday we'll roll away the stone that we have carried for so long. All our burdens will be gone, and I can't wait. Come, let us worship together. If you would join with me in reading the words for the chalice lighting, they're in your order of service. I know some will have hard thoughts about me when they hear that their Christ is named beside my Buddha. Yet I am sure that I am willing they should love their Christ more than my Buddha, for love is the main thing.
Before we held Time of Joys and Sorrows, I have a so we have a fun surprise this morning. Next church year, starting in September, we are going to have an intern minister joining us for the church year, actually for 2 church years. And our intern minister, Jen Kapernoff, is actually here with us this morning with her husband, Maketh, and I want to invite Jen to come on down and come say hello. So let us greet Jen.
Good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, the incredible welcome we've had already, and we both look forward to meeting all of you. So thank you so much. And have a good day. Thank you.
This is really exciting, and we can't wait for September, but we're going to have to. So we got a lot of exciting things between now and then. Each week we hold a time in our service for the sharing of the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this community. It's during this time, if you've come with either a significant personal joy or a significant sorrow, you're invited to come forward, place a stone in the water bowl, say your name into the microphone, and in a brief sentence or two, share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust. I see Andrew's got one, and if there's any joys and sorrows, you can come down on the side and then share.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew Wright, and joy is an update. My father-in-law's open heart surgery went very well, and he's recovering, and my wife Demi is up there with him now. Thanks, everyone, for the good thoughts.
Good morning, I'm Kathy Putnam, and I just want to voice my gratitude for our religious education program, to Marion and Kat, to the youth that care for our children and grandchildren during the church service. Emmy and Ellie are the young ones, and Levi's in youth group, and the friendships and the teachers have just meant so much to them. So.
Good morning. I'm Brian Bickford, and this is my partner, Michael Bickford. And we got a sorrow turned to a joy, I guess. This past Wednesday, I was out on the back deck watching the dogs play in the yard. Michael was mowing the lawn, and we have a zero-turn riding mower, which will be sold Monday. He was riding the lawnmower up along the road by the creek where there's an embankment. He thought it was safe, but it wasn't, and I saw him getting too close, and I thought, well, this probably isn't good. Then I saw him sliding sideways, and I said, this definitely isn't good. Then I saw him flip over and fall on his back in the creek, and the lawnmower flip over, land on top of him, and him not come up, and I thought, this is actually bad. And I ran just as fast as I could. By the time I got there, he was standing by the lawnmower bleeding, brand new glasses somewhere in the muddy creek, and so we went to the hospital and got him checked out. He's okay, but he was in shock. He couldn't speak for a while, and he looks like he lost a round with Mike Tyson. It's not a case of domestic violence, but he was pinned under the lawnmower and was drowning. He couldn't get out. So how he got out by the time I got there, I don't know. But anyway, we're thankful that he did and that he's alive today.
And the song really inspired me to say something. I met one of my very best friends in the Sargasso Sea. We've been both working on the plastic waste crisis and climate change and biodiversity. And she and I, the joy that I want to share is that we traveled up to DC to give a I talked at the National Press Club with the World Wildlife Fund, and it was the first conference in, I would say, 23 years of working in this space that I felt like something meaningful was actually going to happen, where there was issues being addressed in terms of impact on human health and biodiversity. So that song just really like, oh, there is some hope and positive movement in this space. So thank you for the music.
The final stone is placed for all those joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken. Won't you join with me in a time of prayer and meditation? Spirit of life, source of our being and our becoming, God of love, though we celebrate Easter this morning, we come with an awareness of the ways in which we live within a Good Friday world. We are aware of the ravages of war. We are aware of hatreds, intolerance, and persecution. We live in a world which continues to crucify with assault weapons and bans and persecution. We live in a world in which wealth and power are worshipped as false idols. And so it is that we come to this day may we in this time experience that hope, that love, that resolve, that courage, to create Easter among us in our living and our loving, in communities of inclusion, in faithful service, and in loving work for a world more fair, for an earth protected, for dignity acknowledged, for love defended. We come with our own private sorrows and joys. We hold in our hearts those in our community who face illness, who are recovering from surgery or injury, who struggle. We acknowledge the silent and secret struggle of each person. May we have the compassion to reach out, to hold one another in care and tenderness, love and respect. And may we find that peace, that courageous love that holds us at the core of our being. Amidst the joys and the sorrows of this congregation, amidst the pain and wonder of this world, let us hold before us a few moments of silence together. Amen. I invite us to turn to number 123 in our hymnal and rise in body or in spirit and sing together Spirit of Life. At the first service, we sang it through twice, and I'm gonna invite us to sing it through twice at this service as well.
The reading this morning comes from the book Love Beyond Belief by Tandika. Reverend Tandika is a Unitarian Universalist minister and renowned theologian. She writes, "Several years ago, a Catholic priest I knew did famine relief work in an Ethiopian village. The villagers, as they waited for the next shipment to arrive, moved rhythmically in a circle to a beat of a single drum. They danced this way for hours. The priest joined the circle dance, which seemed by his account to consist of a 1, 2, 3 jump sequence. But he never managed to jump at the right time. He jumped too soon or too late, or sometimes he forgot to jump at all. His missteps gave the villagers countless hours of laughter. The children frequently fell out of the circle and onto the ground in fits of giggling delight. The laughter was neither intended nor received as ridicule. Instead, the priest said, it felt like the bemused jesting that goes on in a community when someone marches to the beat of a different drummer. Hour after hour, the priest labored to learn the count and then jump in just the right way. How many times did he move into and then out of step with the group's rhythm? Too many to count, he confessed, but as time wore on, he felt something that surprised him. Tears now welled in his eyes, and he was silent for a long moment. And then he whispered to me, saying, "You know, until that experience, I thought I had known God all my life. But only as I danced with the members of the village did I actually feel God's presence in my life." The priest had danced his way into cosmic consciousness. He set aside all mental distractions and focused steady attention on the internal alignment of the movements of his body with the external rhythmic movements of the world. Thanks to this cosmic interior experience, the priest entered the difference, the space between his lifelong beliefs and thoughts about God, and became one with the cosmic feeling of eternal, abounding life. This difference between what he thought and what he felt, however, disappeared when the priest called his cosmic experience an encounter with God. Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, the information is on the church's website. We also have a QR code if you'd like to use it on the back of the order of service. We will now receive the morning offering.
That's a good idea.
Actually, I want to let you know I chose this song because not only is it about the story of the Easter story of Jesus being rising out of the grave, but also it's a metaphor for how shame and hatred and fear can kind of put us in the ground spiritually, and how love is the redemption that will raise us from that grave. And I also thought of that song this week when I was thinking of the Tennessee legislators that I don't think they're going to stay in their position, their grave for very long either, and will rise up as well.
Redeemer, Can I tell you a joke? Don't get excited, it's actually not a very good joke. But it is a famous joke attributed to Emo Phillips, and it goes something like this. There's a man standing on a bridge high above a rushing river. The man is in deepest despair, having lost faith in the world. And along came a concerned passerby who, worried about the man, approaches him and strikes up a conversation, maybe hoping to restore this man's faith in the world. "Friend," the passerby asks, "do you believe that God loves you?" "I do," says the man. "So do I," says the passerby. "Friend," the passerby asks, are you Christian or Jewish?" "I'm Christian," says the man. "So am I," says the passerby. "Friend," the passerby asks, "Tell me, it's a curiosity, are you Catholic or Protestant?" "I'm Protestant," answers the man. "So am I," says the passerby. "But I do have to wonder, are you Methodist or Baptist?" Why, I'm Baptist," the man answers. "So am I," answers the passerby. "Say, do you happen to be Northern Baptist or Southern Baptist?" The passerby asks. Northern, says the man. So am I, exclaims the passerby. And tell me, are you a premillennial dispensationalist or a postmillennial dispensationalist? Asks the passerby. Well, answers the man, I'm a premillennial dispensationalist. And the passerby exclaims excitedly, so am I. What are the chances? And the passerby asks, is there any chance that you're part of the Northern Baptist Reformed Church of 1876? No, the man on the bridge responds, I'm part of the Northern Baptist Reformed Church of 1916. And at that point, the passerby yells at him, well, curses, you heretic, and throws him off the bridge. I promised you. I said it was going to be a lousy joke. And you laughed anyways. So it's not on me. Emo Phillips' joke pokes fun at how religion can be a source of division, conflict, even violence in our world. The joke is absurd, right? But there's an element of truth to it. After all, there have been wars fought, people put to death, people persecuted, imprisoned, and banished. There have been inquisitions and excommunications and heresy trials. There have been schisms and splits and painful divisions over matters of doctrinal dispute. Some of the church councils of the ancient Christian church actually involved bishops getting into fistfights. There's actually a book on fistfights in the early Christian church. That's not the title, but I kind of wish that it was. And this church, our church, the Community Church of Chapel Hill, was actually founded as the result of, as a reaction to, as a response to a minister being persecuted, interrogated, brought up on heresy charges for being insufficiently orthodox in his beliefs. This church was founded intentionally as a church where nobody would file complaints against the minister for theological heresies or withhold membership to someone because someone didn't pass a creedal test. When this church was founded, these words were spoken to indicate the place it would strive to occupy in the religious landscape of our town. They said this at the first meeting. Chapel Hill needs a worshiping and working fellowship of people from varied backgrounds and faiths. A church of open membership, free from denominational limitations, a spiritual home wherein there is unity in the Christian essentials, liberty in the non-essentials, and charity in all things. A fellowship dedicated to the worship of God and to outgoing Christian service. There has been a great increase in the number of people who cannot adhere to the old-time dogmas and that claim the right to give new interpretation to the nature of Christianity and faith. What a grand notion, and one that we share. Sermons about love beyond belief, and I first encountered the phrase love beyond belief on the website of a very prominent Unitarian Universalist church, one that has long played the role of the open, non-dogmatic church in an area of the country known for the severity of its fundamentalisms and orthodoxies. Here's how that church describes the idea. All over our church, you will see the words love beyond belief. Here, love is at the center of our church, and we feel strongly that people do not have to believe alike to love alike. The only test of faith one will encounter here is, do your beliefs or lack of beliefs lead you to love others? We are much more interested in what you do, and we're less concerned about what you say you believe here. It probably would not surprise you to learn that dozens and dozens and dozens of Unitarian Universalist churches have adopted the phrase love beyond belief as a shorthand and catchy and memorable way to describe their approach to religion. In fact, if you go to church websites, there's a lot of them where they say, love beyond belief is the big slogan on the website. But I want to go just a little bit deeper and talk about the origins of this phrase and its deeper meaning. The term was actually coined by Thondeka, a Unitarian Universalist minister and theologian, and she has subsequently trademarked the phrase love beyond belief. So it's trademarked, which I think is interesting. Thondeka is the originator of a theological approach that she calls affect theology. This is, I'll just say parenthetically that on Easter you're going to get theology. You're going to have to. It's like taking a theology course here. So buckle in. So Thondeka is the originator of a theological approach that she calls affect theology. And affect theology, what it is it explores the connection between our emotions, our human affective states, and our religious thoughts and practices. And she means love beyond belief literally. Our beliefs, she argues, arise from and attempt to express our feelings and emotions and affectations. She says that what grounds liberal theology isn't a way of thinking, but rather an emotional experience of transcending love that we experience as cosmic consciousness. And then we try to put that feeling, that affect, into words that become beliefs. This is a provocative idea. According to Thondeka, liberal theology did not emerge from or break away from or reject or critique orthodoxy on the basis of reasoning or logic or intellectual thought. We did not think our way from our old religious ways. We loved our way into who we became. We loved our way into who we became. We experienced what she called cosmic consciousness, or rather, people who kind of helped to originate Unitarian Universalism experienced what she called cosmic consciousness or universal love emotionally, and then tried to put that emotional feeling into forms and beliefs and concepts. Sound interesting, right? Before you go and order Thondeka's book, though, let me warn you, is that it sounds interesting, but please know that she bases her argument on an in-depth historical and psychological reading of the writings of Friedrich Schleiermacher. And unless you're a divinity school student with an abundance of free time, which I think there are only one or two of those here, you're more likely to hurl this book about Schleiermacher off a bridge than you are to actually finish it. That's not a challenge. Schleiermacher is considered the father of liberal theology, and Thondeka argues that Schleiermacher made cosmic consciousness the foundation of liberal theology, and that our affect, our emotions, is the access point to that experience of love that has become the spiritual foundation of liberal faith. And further, Thondeka argues that what's needed for liberal theology to flourish instead of flounder in these times is for us to take seriously the effective dimensions of religious experience and focus on promoting and nurturing experiences of transcending love, literally love beyond belief. Today is Easter, and I bet some of you were thinking that I wouldn't get to Easter. Easter's always tricky for Unitarian Universalists. It's tricky for a lot of people in our churches. It's tricky for a lot of ministers, truth be told. It's tricky for a lot of people planning worship services for liberal progressive congregations. We get stuck with Easter. And if the focus becomes what to believe about Easter, what to think about Easter, things can get very tense very quickly. But if we turn to affect theology and theologians like Thondeka, we open ourselves to a different way of experiencing and understanding the Easter story. It becomes, in this telling, the story of a brokenhearted, traumatized, fearful, and despairing band of disciples, followers of a divine love, who experience transcending love, cosmic consciousness, even in the midst of unspeakable loss, who find in this miraculous moment a feeling of God's love and presence where they expected to feel only God's absence. It is an irony that anyone should be so fixated on believing the right thing about Jesus when Jesus himself emphasized love over belief at every turn, and inclusion over orthodoxy at every turn in his teachings. The clearest example of this is found in Matthew's Gospel, in which Jesus is asked, "Which commandment is the greatest of all?" And Jesus said unto him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Love beyond belief. Or as 1 John puts it, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. Love beyond belief. In the reading this morning that Bill shared with us from Tandeka's book, a priest tells the story of a religious experience where he experiences a cosmic feeling of eternal, abounding life. It's an experience of love beyond belief. For that priest, what leads to this experience is dance, movement, joy, laughter, connection, service, and affection. Beliefs have absolutely nothing to do with the experience. It's an experience of love beyond belief. And so I ask, can we imagine that for the community of Jesus' followers and disciples, that they experience that cosmic feeling of eternal abounding life through their deepest experience of love, solidarity, gratitude, meaning, and purpose, even in the face of violent persecution? Can we imagine that for them, that experience was not fundamentally about believing correctly, but loving fully? Can we imagine the passerby in the Emo Phillips joke getting unstuck from his doctrinal narrowness and loving his neighbor as himself? Loving beyond belief? Can we imagine a church here in Chapel Hill with liberty in the non-essentials and charity in all things? Can we imagine love beyond belief? And can we do more than imagine it? Because it's not enough just to imagine it, it's something to actually experience. Can we actually experience it? Can we actually engender experiences of transcending love? I think we can, and I think we do, and I think we should, and I think we must. So I ask, where in our community, where in our community life together might we engender that experience of transcending love? Is it in the welcomes, our inclusion, our embrace, our joy in meeting? Is it in the service that we do together? Our joyful service, our day of service in the community, our accompanying work with migrants, our service projects at the Home Start Shelter? Is it in singing? Is it in making music together? Is it in putting our voices together? Is it in our advocacy, where we speak from the depth of that love that we've experienced and demand that that love be manifest in the world? Is it in our vulnerable sharing, our listening, our speaking from the heart, our bearing of ourselves? Is it in the welcoming culture of our youth and children's ministry? Is it in the love of nurturing and growth? We are a community in which we might practice love beyond belief. It's a community in which we might be connected by our feeling more than by our thinking. I invite you to take these words, this challenge, but most of all, this love with you, and to live it going forward. And let us sing our closing hymn of the morning. It is number 12, O Life that Maketh All Things New. And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our closing song this morning.
Please remain standing as we read the words, say the words for extinguishing of our chalice. If you need them, the words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Before we sing Shalom, our closing song, let's thank the choir and everybody that made the service possible, including Danny. Please join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. If you need, as you're comfortable, please either hold hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.